Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we are diving into one of the most intriguing political shake-ups to come out of South Africa in recent months. It involves Jacob Zuma, the MK party, a suspended parliamentary leader, and a surprise appointment that has stirred confusion, shock, and a fair amount of laughter in political circles. What really happened inside the MK caucus, and why did Zuma decide to replace John Hlophe with Des van Rooyen, a man whose name instantly reminds South Africans of a certain strange weekend at the Treasury? Let us take our time and walk through this story with care. The situation inside the MK party has been growing tense for weeks. The party entered parliament promising discipline and unity, yet soon enough, internal disagreements started to spill into public view. At the center of the tension was Dr. John Hlophe, the former judge whose presence in parliament added a dramatic edge to MK's image. He had been chosen as the party's parliamentary leader, and for a while, things appeared settled. But behind closed doors, the mood was far less calm. Reports from inside the caucus describe an atmosphere of frustration. Members claimed that Hlophe had begun making decisions without consulting the party's national leadership. Others described him as dismissive and unwilling to follow instructions from senior figures. Whether these complaints were motivated by genuine concern or factional rivalry is still unclear. What we do know is that Zuma, who remains the center of authority within MK, became increasingly unhappy with the growing divisions. The breaking point arrived when several MPs accused Hlophe of pushing ahead with parliamentary strategies that had not been approved by the party committee. Some said he acted as if the caucus belonged to him. Others insisted he was trying to carve out his own political base inside parliament. Zuma viewed this as a threat to unity. In Zuma's world, factional independence is tolerated only when he is the one directing it. If someone else starts conducting their own orchestra, the music ends quickly. With the tension rising, Zuma unexpectedly announced that Hlophe would be suspended. The move caught many MK supporters off guard. Some believed Hlophe was the perfect symbol of defiance. But Zuma had grown tired of the noise and wanted to re-establish order before things spiraled. After suspending Hlophe, Zuma went a step further by appointing Des van Rooyen as the acting parliamentary leader. This decision surprised nearly everyone. Van Rooyen remains famous in South Africa for serving the shortest and most chaotic term as finance minister during Zuma's presidency. His sudden appointment in 2015 shocked the country and sent the markets into a tailspin. Even today, the words "weekend special" still cling to his name. So when Zuma announced that this very man would now help stabilize MK's parliamentary presence, many South Africans laughed in disbelief. Yet Zuma appears to trust Van Rooyen. Their relationship goes back to the days when Zuma relied heavily on loyalists who would follow instructions without question. Van Rooyen fits that mold completely. Zuma likely believes that Van Rooyen will keep the caucus in line, consult the top leadership, and avoid the kind of independent streak that created trouble under Hlophe. Inside MK, however, the appointment created mixed reactions. Some welcomed the return of a familiar Zuma ally. Others felt uneasy about handing parliamentary leadership to someone whose political track record has long been a national joke. But Zuma has never allowed public ridicule to guide his decisions. He has always preferred those who are loyal over those who are popular. Now, what does this move say about the state of the MK party? First, it signals that Zuma wants tight control over the organization. The party is only months old, yet it has already developed internal camps. Zuma is now trying to stamp out those divisions before they weaken the party's influence in parliament. Second, the move shows that Zuma still sees himself as the strategic center of MK. The party structure may include committees and parliamentary leaders, but final authority continues to sit with him. Beyond the internal dynamics, this reshuffle also shapes how MK interacts with other political parties. Hlophe's leadership style was confrontational, sometimes unpredictable. Van Rooyen is more cautious. He may bring a calmer approach in parliamentary debates, at least on the surface. But behind the scenes, Zuma will still be guiding the tone. In other words, the public face has changed, but the hand behind the scenes remains the same. There is also an interesting cultural element to this story. MK supporters often view Zuma as a father figure who corrects the family when things become messy. The sudden switch from Hlophe to Van Rooyen has been described by some as Zuma bringing the boys back into line. Others joke that Zuma has a list of loyal cadres stored in a drawer, and whenever someone misbehaves, he simply pulls out the next one. Whether true or not, the humor reflects the strange mix of seriousness and comedy that South African politics often brings. Now comes the question of Hlophe's future. Some believe he will return after the suspension period. Others think Zuma has already written him off. If Hlophe tries to fight the decision, it may deepen the cracks inside MK. If he stays quiet, he may be reintegrated later. The problem is that Hlophe is not known for staying quiet. His career has always involved controversy, resistance, and long legal battles. So we may still see another chapter in this story. For now, Van Rooyen has been placed at the front. His role will be to stabilize the caucus, follow party instructions, and present a united face in parliament. Whether he succeeds remains to be seen. The MK party is full of strong personalities and competing interests. Even the most loyal leader will struggle to control such a dynamic group. This situation also raises another issue. South Africans have grown weary of political turbulence. The public wants stability, honesty, and leadership that focuses on real problems like unemployment, electricity, and crime. When parties spend their time fighting internally or reshuffling leaders, citizens feel even more disconnected from politics. Zuma's reshuffle may help MK, but it does little to reassure the average voter who already feels neglected by the political system. Still, the story is undeniably captivating. It has drama, surprise, humor, and characters who never fail to create news. It is the kind of tale that reminds us why South African politics is watched around the world. The combination of tension and comedy is something very few countries can match. As we watch the next developments, one thing is clear. Zuma has tightened his grip on the MK caucus, and he is not willing to let the party drift away from his control. The question now is whether Van Rooyen can keep the house quiet, or whether MK is heading toward another public clash. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the twists and turns of this political saga, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about Zuma's decision? Do you believe Van Rooyen is the right person for the job, or is MK headed for more trouble? Thank you for watching, and see you next time.